It could be old news. Like, hey, we're coming out with ballistic or what do you call it? Bubble protection system or whatever.
Right. Ballistic missile system.
Ballistic.
Sorry, we have
actually, that's the
we
new
have
zone
we have
for
ballistic
vehicles.
protection. We have ballistic protection systems on the helicopter. So
Right.
Bubble protection systems. Yes.
Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Tonight we have part 2 of our interview with Ross Barr. Please like and subscribe to this channel. You can go visit us at 5idiotstalkingtoys.com and you can see everything that we have available there from our merch shop, links to our other pages, links to other social media, and you can collect with us at rogue5toys.com. Without further ado, let's get into part 2.
Not my style.
So I got a question.
Where are you, John? I can't see you.
Where's John?
He's the idiot.
I'm right here.
Number one idiot.
Oh, it's so funny.
So I have a question. Did you guys notice a boon when AFA stopped grading for that period of time during COVID? When they cut out grading because they were using the acrylic for protection and for medical purposes and grocery stores and stuff like that. Did you see like a sudden boon with?
No, we actually did that too. We were doing that too.
They did both, and they
both
stole
were doing it. They had a great idea.
Yeah.
We kind of debated that initially, like, oh, are we gonna look like we're like, copying them or whatever? And we all got together, like, we're like, that's stupid. If more hospitals can use this, like, who cares? Like, if someone thinks we're copying them, who cares? Right? Yeah. Like, we were copying them because it was a good idea. And they did a lot of good. So just like they did, we created these. I don't know if you guys all know what John was talking about, but right as the pandemic hit, since we both make acrylic, we made these acrylic shields, like a box. When someone was intubating a COVID patient, when you're intubating someone, they kind of like cough up and spit up and all that, right? Like really transmit. That's like high transmission of COVID. So it was a box with things for your hands that you put the box over someone's head as you're about to intubate them, put your hands in, and they'd be completely protected by
I think I saw a video about that.
Yeah, we had a couple of videos that were put out at the time.
Yeah, I saw that.
We served like 150, 200 hospitals, something like that, or maybe more than that. I forget what the exact number was, but it was a short-lived thing because if you remember all the shit that happened at the very beginning of the pandemic. Yeah, it's not like I want to say podcast. It's a pandemic. At the pandemic, like there was a lot of stuff you did that you didn't do 2 weeks later. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there was a period where people like cleaning their groceries off when they got home. Right? Not doing that.
Weren't you supposed to inject yourself with bleach or something at some point? I mean, that was like 2 days only, though.
No, you drink it. You drink it.
Oh, you drink it.
Right.
Well, it's funny that you brought that up, John and Ross, because Brandon went online and found some overstock of those pieces, and he put one of those over John's head in the hotel room when he was coughing up and hacking up at night. He had a cube over his head, to keep him from, communicating any issues. All right.
It'll be a nice collector's item at this point. Yeah. I'll get you one made, Shane.
You can get a slip. You can probably put a Millennium Falcon in there.
Get one.
Can you make one where
permanent
it seals it shut so he can't talk?
Yeah, we don't have to hear him.
Just make it permanent, right over Shane's face.
Soundproof. Yeah. So what is, you talked a little bit about some new ventures with CAS, some things you're doing. What is kind of, the newest? Is there anything new over there right now? Is there anything that you've started to do with certain collectibles that you hadn't, done in the past? Is there anything that you could share that's the latest?
No, I think the one thing, and I'd be interested in you guys, you can be completely honest about this too. I think at least the Wildminster brothers, I know you guys send it in more loose.
I'll be honest.
Yeah. Right? You guys send it. I know you will. Yeah, I know you will. But I think you guys send it.
Don't worry, Ross. It's a safe place here. You're safe.
Okay, nice.
You're safe. It's a safe place.
I know you guys send it more loose than carded, but we're slowly making our way. I don't know if you guys are aware of the bubble protection system, bubble preservation system, the BPS. Right? If you ever knew like the old bubble protection that used to exist for grading carded figures. It was like a
case around
piece
it,
of
yeah.
acrylic that would go around the bubble, right? So CAS created like a vacuum form fitting bubble that goes on top of the bubble, essentially stopping figures from breaking through. And so we've announced up to the first 21 figures on Star Wars and Empire card. It's available. And when we were doing it, I was like, I thought it was gonna be something that would revolutionize the hobby, because, maybe once every couple of weeks, you'll see someone sending carded figure in the mail and the figure busts through the bubble, right? Ruining whatever value that's there. And we came up with a solution that kind of would stop that. And I'm really surprised it hasn't taken off the way that I thought it would. I don't know. Have you guys seen that? Have you heard of it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Heard of it, yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
I think if you send in a mint on card, you're a moron for not getting it.
Okay.
I think you're an idiot.
So my thought is that, number one, I know that there was like a CAS logo on the bottom, and I saw it a couple of times. So there was like some kind of logo. It kind of stood out, and I was like, I don't really want to see a logo on it. But number two, the most important thing was 10 years later, what happens if you have to regrade this thing? Is that thing going to get stuck to the mock? Like, is it going to ruin it? Like,
yeah, it's a good question. It's actually an excellent question.
That was the only question I had.
So the reason that we put the CAS logo on there, we originally didn't. It's so invisible that we sent a few out back to customers, and they said, "You guys forgot to put it on."
Oh, really?
And they literally couldn't, which I don't understand, because it's transparent, but like if you like go like this, you can see it. It's not like it's invisible, right? Like it's not like we're fooling people and saying like, "Oh yeah, we really put it on," and like didn't put it on. It's really hard to see. So we put that little CAS thing on there so people see that it's there. As stupid as that sounds. And as far as like the 10, 15 years down the road thing, it's really high quality plastic that's used in like I think something related to like dental work. I can't remember exactly the name of the plastic, but should not degrade. Should not degrade.
No, I was saying that anytime I send in a mock, like for a customer, I always say, "Do you want the BPS protection on?" And they always go, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "Okay."
See, I think that
I asked them.
There's a lot of people. It hasn't caught on the way that I think it should. Hello.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, dude?
These things are 40 years old. It's going to only get worse and harder to get one. Like, why would you not get it on it?
That's what I'm thinking.
You
I
want to
think
protect it.
I think we got to market. We got to market a little bit more. I think that's what it is. Maybe people just aren't aware. So,
I wasn't aware that you had that. I knew you guys were looking for card backs or the bubbles specifically, so you could match the VPS to that. But I wasn't aware that. I knew you guys were doing it, but I wasn't aware you only had the first 21. I thought you guys had already had everything. And to be honest, I guess I haven't looked at too many of Chris's posts or whatever, but you guys were marketing it a lot last year and talking about it.
right.
I just haven't heard anything about it since then.
We got to do it more. I think that's.
I think it's a great idea. It's obviously to preserve the mocks and stuff. Like I would add it to mine. Yeah, having a logo on there, if it's transparent, that's fine. And we're, my personal take is I don't want anything over the bubble that I can see. Like putting a big acrylic box around it kind of takes away from the appeal to me. But putting like plastic over it looks a lot better as long as you can't see it. Like it looks original.
You actually can't see it. Like I've actually had it. Like I've held it in person. And I've seen it, and it really is like invisible. Like it really doesn't stand out at all. That was the only complaint that I actually had, was that the logo was in the corner. Because once you see the logo, then it stands out all the time, and it's like then you look at it and then you just see the logo.
Yeah, maybe we should find a different place for it.
Maybe like on the bottom of the bubble, like by underneath, where the stem is, maybe like a little CAS on there or something. Where
I tell people all the time, like if someone buys a mock off the page, I always go, "Do you want me to ship it to you or ship it to CAS?" And they always go, "Ship it to CAS, get it graded." I'm like, "All right, do you want the blister protection?" No. Like I have a bunch of mocks. Well, I had a bunch of mocks with the old box style around it. I always got it done. I wouldn't get a mock and not do it personally.
Right.
And what is that? What does that go for? What's the nominal, upcharge there?
$15. $15.
So cheap.
Yeah.
So these people that are spending $800 on an Empire, debut card, something like that, some expensive, alt photo or something, and then they're not going to spend $15 on to protect it, so there you go.
To me, and the other thing that we were thinking about when we did it, there's a finite amount of carded figures that are out there that are not graded, that are gradable left. Like at some point, I mean, maybe we'll never run out, but it seems like at some point we should. But doing the BPS, we'd have thought that people that have already graded, 12 backs or Power of the Force figures that are prone to busting through the bubble that have no protection, we thought that'd be a way to get people to like send in already graded stuff to get cracked out and regraded, which as a grading company opens up not only anything that's ungraded, but anything that's already graded, right? Which would be like, as a grading company would be a fantastic thing, right? And as a collector as well, right? If you knew, someone years and years and years ago graded your item, it's not that big of, especially if it's $1,000, $1,500 figure, whatever, not that much skin off your back to send it in for, another grading charge plus $15 to make sure it's properly protected. Especially the Power of the Force or Jedi ones that are yellow, that are more prone to breaking.
Even a tri-logo bubble, it's so big and there's so much room and they're sliding up and down. It's like every tri-logo that I had, I actually had the blister protection on it, not the new one, the old one.
Right.
But I always got it done always because it was stupid not to. Who wants to spend $2,000 on a card and have this thing sent back to you, and then you see his head flying out of the blister?
So I have a question for you, Ross.
Yeah. If
you would tell us, are you guys working on a new loose graded Star Wars case?
We're always kind of tweaking and perfecting. I wouldn't say that we're working on a totally new style. We may do something with the weapon holders.
Okay. Yeah, I heard through someone else who heard from someone else that you guys are working on something new.
Yeah. I think we may do something different on the weapon holders.
There has to be, which I'm sure you can't even do, but if there was some way to like grade a loose, figure and then have some way for you to like access it, like not really access it, but like, sometimes when the figure like moves on the inside, you just want to like move it, like a little bit, or just like move him like left or right. If there was like a little like hole in the back or something, like
something to stick a hanger in, and
just put a sliding door so you could just take the figure right out.
Just put a sliding door on it. You can just change the grade whenever you want.
You know what I mean?
Don't use glue or anything.
You know what I mean?
think the problem with that, right? The only issue, and again, I think what you're suggesting is probably something that's small enough that you couldn't swap out the weapon. You couldn't otherwise like swap out the figure, right? I totally get you. I think the issue then would be, a dirt or like a booger or something falls into it and then it's impossible to get out, right? Like that would be the problem. Not that I got like boogers all over my collection.
Brandon's mustache hair, it falls into the case. Now it's there forever.
That mustache hair would jump off his face and fly into the case. It has a mind of its own.
It's worth a lot.
That's where the money is, though. All the money is in a new loose case. If you guys can reinvent like the new one, like whatever it is, I've been thinking about.
I mean, you do a lot of this stuff. So what if you? Again, I'm not asking you to design the case.
I have no clue. I've been thinking about it for years. Like, what would a new case look like? I have no idea. I can't think of anything.
Let's start with from this standpoint, right? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Like, what don't you like about the case? What do you think that could be improved?
I think they can all be smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're too big, and there's so much wasted room.
Yeah. 100%. We get that a decent amount, especially on like the Luke Jedi. I think the Luke Jedi case it's like that.
I mean, look when the cape is mounted separately. You mean?
Well, yeah. So whenever you guys started mounting the cape on the side, to me that was just different right there. I think those look awesome for the prune face, the Luke Jedi, all those. Like to me,
they look cool.
Yeah,
it's a lot of cool.
It is. It definitely is. But I think it's the case has definitely gotten smaller though. Like when you guys first started doing it, it was definitely like long, and now it's like a lot shorter.
I mean, because again, we heard feedback from people like Charles that were 100% right that the case is too big, and so we slimmed it down over time. May not be a ton more room, but I'll definitely talk to the staff and have them look at it. It's good feedback, man.
I know on my acrylic risers, like I can fit 4 AFAs across, and I can fit 3 CAS across.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
interesting. You can also say we're giving you more acrylic for the same cost. You're welcome.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Well, Charles is the one that's complaining. I'm not complaining. It's Charles.
It's not a complaint. I'm just saying, like, for me, I would want it all smaller. Like, if the head is like here, I want the acrylic to stop like right near the head. I want it like small.
See, I mean, the other issue too is you getting back to like the mass manufacturing standpoint. Ken, my partner who does the operation, he always tries to have as few number of cases as possible, right? So if you have 80 some figures, you don't want 80 cases, you want 30 cases that fit 80 figures. So there may be a few that it's perfectly tight on. There's a couple that it's going to be a little big on that they share the same case.
So that's kind of what I was going to ask about going back to the blister protection thing. How many molds do you have to make? Because they're all different kinds.
They're all unique. That's why it's so time consuming. They're all unique. And the thing, this is Chris Whitlock's project. When we talk about the hardest working man in toy grading, right? This guy is literally, he makes like the dies and all the molds and stuff like that. And has done it himself. For each figure, but even on a particular figure, Darth Vader bubble, there's slight variations in the bubble. Maybe that's a factory thing. I don't recall whether it's a factory thing or it's just these are not perfectly made all from the same molds back in the day too.
Yeah, and even if like the same figure, some of them have a stem on the bottom. Some of the cards,
a double stem.
Right. So many combinations.
Here's an idea I had, and maybe you think it's stupid, but I do it. No, for like a Luke.
Nothing you say is stupid.
For like a loose Luke Hoth.
Generous.
For $15 or whatever price, you can add on like a snow scene right on the back of the case.
Someone mentioned
like on the inside, so like you can't like move it around or like access it, but like for like Leia like Endor, you'll have like a wood scene like right on the somewhere like right on the
Charles, you can print that out yourself and just tape it.
No,
tape
I know.
on the back.
I'm just saying theirs would probably look nicer if it's like it's on the inside.
I'm interested in the idea. I actually think the opposite. One part of it is that it would be cool if it was like an adhesive that went on the back of the case. That way, maybe if you ever did want to remove it.
Okay,
if you ever did want to remove it or you wanted to sell it and the person didn't want that,
you could take it off.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Well,
yeah.
We're talking to the wrong person about that. We're need to keep that. He's going to take the idea and run with it.
Yeah, don't give him a good idea. Give him all of our ideas.
I got a question.
We're putting a patent on that.
John, don't add that part. All right.
Do you guys grade reaction figures?
I think so. Yeah, we've done them. That's like the Super 7 stuff, right?
Yeah.
You guys grade alien reaction figures?
Yeah, we can do all that. We can do all that. Like a ton of modern stuff. I'm surprised by the volume of modern stuff that we get. The vintage collection stuff actually has gotten a lot more value over the last few years than it used to. Right? So we get more of that than we have. But some like modern, I wouldn't call it junk. I don't ever call it junk, but like things that are off like toy store for $15 that it costs more to grade it.
Yeah.
But if someone wants a case and wants to protect it, who am I to judge? If they pay, God bless them.
I've been getting the Lily Letty overstock heads graded, so just a little floating head in the case. So I have like 4 of them now, and these guys make fun of me all the time. I love them. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I love them.
Yeah.
Well, I just messaged these guys on Friday and said, "Is
Well,
it?"
there's no paint to worry about being scraped.
No.
Yeah, well, it's an overstock, non-painted head. It's good.
Oh, stop. Overstock. It's organic. I mean, there's like 9 names to the thing. It is a Star Wars
Unpainted.
head that they didn't paint. That's what it is.
He's
It's not
rolling around in
overstock.
somebody's lunchbox.
Gertrude put it in her
Yeah.
apron pocket.
Yeah, Gertrude put it in her back pocket, and she ran
put it
out
in
of
her
the factory.
apron pocket when she ran out of the factory that day, at the last day. No, I messaged these guys on Friday because I was getting some acrylic for the very first time for some pieces that I just have, floating around on shelves, and I haven't gotten into grading yet. But I said to them, "Is it absolutely ridiculous to get a couple of acrylics for, some Power of the Force 2 and some, Saga Legends or that kind of modern, inexpensive stuff?" And they were like, "No, absolutely not." Because I said it's part of a focus. It's not just a couple of random pieces. I have a Princess Leia focus, and they're sitting there flopping around on the shelf. It would look great standing up in a piece of acrylic. So that was encouraging, and I did order them. So, one thing that I was surprised at, this to change the topic. One thing I was surprised at being on Rogue 5 Toys with these guys. Chris and Charles. And John have regular stuff for sale. Brandon and I kind of populate the page, to some percentage of that. Oh, sorry, Brandon. Brandon's
Later,
slapping up. He's got his Power of the Force 2 museum collection up right now.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah. I don't sell as much as John, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've taken John over in the last months because he has a toy store now. Yeah, he's got to stock those shelves. But no, what I was going to say is one thing that surprised me in seeing these guys sell gradable figures, gradable mocks, and then having the customers, like Chris said, have them send them in for them. It blows my mind, and you probably already know this, that people are buying stuff and instantly selling it to you. In these cases, they're not even seeing it before it gets to you. So they bought something and then they don't see it until they get it from CAS, or they got something and they turn it around in 2 days at their house and send it to you. So they're not even enjoying the collectible. So that was surprising to me because I always kind of pictured it was people, had a collection. And then once the time came, they went to go grade their stuff. No. So many people are buying stuff and having it instantly graded.
They do it all the time. Yeah.
That, as from your point of view, I'm sure you are aware, and that's something you keep in mind because that turnaround time means, that holds them from getting their collectible, for the very first time. Sometimes it's interesting.
Yeah. There's a decent amount of folks that send stuff in like that for sure. It's great.
You're welcome.
Yeah. If it was me, sometimes I would want to see the condition myself personally before sending it in. But if you're buying from someone who's a trusted seller, is describing the condition well, like you guys, then you should feel comfortable to send it in like that. So,
and to make a little bit more sense too, all of us sell internationally, but Chris sells nice pieces and has build-a-boxes for people that are in Australia, New Zealand, UK. So Hungary. It makes sense because Hungary. So he's sending that stuff in from the US, makes more sense before it gets shipped internationally, which makes less sense. So
I actually had a box from FedEx come today from my house from CAS. It was an item that Charles had sold to Thomas Decker, the Luke Poncho. Mm-hmm. And then I sent it in to get graded for him, and it got graded a 90 plus.
Whoa.
So it came in today, and then I repackaged it into another box, and then I'm shipping it out tomorrow for him.
I saw you made a submission today, by the way. I wanted to raise this. I see everything, right?
That was
Glass Leaf Vader, right?
And then you saw that I sold it yesterday on the page, right?
Oh, I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that.
I sold it on the page yesterday.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I listed on the page yesterday.
Normally, I don't talk about like confidential submissions of collectors. That's like I've actually never broken that rule. People ask us all the time. Like if someone says, "Do you know anyone who submitted XYZ piece I'm looking for?" And I'm like, "Sorry, man. Like, I can't really help you out." But
he bought the glass.
I'll tell you whatever he submits. That's cool.
Just tell Chris. Who cares? No, the guy bought a Glass Leaf Vader, and he was like, "I'm going to send it in to get graded." And I'm like, "You're already paying shipping from me to you. Do you want me to just ship it for you, and I'll print it out and lay the money out, and then you just pay me back?" And that's pretty much what he did. Like, I don't mind. Yeah. I'm shipping it out regardless. It doesn't matter if I'm shipping it out to you guys or to him. I'm still doing the work anyway.
Yep.
So
here's a really good question, actually, for Chris. Where is the line for you? Do you ever think about something that's rare, rarer, like a glass Elite Vader? What about you sending that in, getting it graded, and then how much more is it worth once it's graded? And in a case, where's the line for you on that? I know you like to get collections in, turn stuff around. If there was a shorter window at some point in the near future, is there a line where you're like, nah, now it's worth it? I might not mind sitting on that for 6 weeks if I can get twice as much for it.
I only grade my personal stuff
and
stuff for customers. Everything else that comes in, I want this crap out as fast as possible. I don't want to send it into a grading company. No offense. I don't want to wait 4 months. I don't want to sit on my money. I just want to get it out. I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really do that.
Okay. It's interesting. I mean, because the general school of thought is if you get stuff graded, you should have a higher return.
Absolutely,
if grades well.
And people think that I do that, but my reasoning is always that I'm selling the item, I'm getting my money right now, and I'm using that money 6 more times before that item comes back in.
Yeah.
So I'm still making money on that original investment anyway. If you
know, I mean, again, to play devil's advocate for a second, and also pump up people sending stuff in to get graded to sell more stuff for higher amount. No, you're right. Like people that you started at a certain point, right? Even if the turnaround 6 months, you start sending stuff in on day 1, month 2, month 3, by month 6, you start getting a steady supply of stuff back. So it's a little lag at the outset, but if you're a consistent submitter, we have plenty of people that do that. That's how it kind of works.
So I'm the opposite of Chris. I send it in and I get it graded and then I sell it.
Yeah. And you're the smarter brother.
So. I just don't see like I have like a hammerhead. What am I going to sell him for?
Right.
$25. He's really, really nice. $30. No, I want to sell it for $175 because that's how nice it is.
And here's my reasoning. For me, it's not worth it to send it in, wait the time. Now you're hoping it gets an 85 or better. God forbid it doesn't get an 85, but you're screwed. So now you're shipping it to CAS, you're shipping it back from CAS, and then you're shipping it again to the customer. It's in transit way too much. It's too much of a risk for me to do that.
I mean, Charles sent those figures in and he got really low grades. So obviously he's,
correct. Yeah.
He's going blind or what, but his hammerhead is now worth $15. What is the weirdest or oddest thing you've ever seen graded at CAS?
There's a couple that come to mind. One's it's not odd, but it is. It was a piece of trash, right? So a piece of trash. I don't know if you guys heard of this find a while ago, but a bunch of ET Atari games were like put in a dumpster, long time ago.
Buried in a landfill or something, yeah.
Or maybe it doesn't have value. I think there's so many of them that they were in the dumpster. But from that find, I think it was in New Mexico, someone had a centipede that was pulled from that dumpster, and it was in a plastic bag. It literally smelled like vomit. Right? This guy submitted it in Kane County with like the COA, and he was like, "Literally, you're grading my trash." So it was pretty cool. Do you hear a dog barking in the background?
Yeah, whose dog is that?
Whose dog is that?
It's always Brandon. Any sound or anything is Brandon.
No,
yeah.
I don't know. My dog. It's probably Shane's dog.
Not in my house.
Rescue. We have like a foster rescue dog that we just got. It's like been here a day, but it's causing some problems. Anyway, so
is it your dog then?
What's that?
Is it your dog?
No, we have one dog. And
okay. Because
whose dog is it?
It's not my dog.
This happens all the time. Do we have some weird noise and everyone's like, "Well, not me. No kids here." Like,
I don't have a dog, so it's not my house.
Me either. No one admits it.
It's either Shane.
Is it?
It's either Shane or Ross.
You want me to mute my mic? I'll mute my mic.
It's not your dog. Okay, now Brandon, do yours.
It's not me.
All right. So
Brandon's dog.
no, it's literally my
It's
dog.
Brandon's
It's
dog.
literally my dog. It's literally my dog. Anyway,
Okay.
Oh, it is Ross's. That's what I thought he was telling the truth.
that's what I was saying.
Charles
Yeah,
blew
that's what I'm
right by
saying.
it.
Yeah, I'm
we have
like,
a
my
foster
dogs don't
dog.
sound like that. Mine sound like they're killing somebody.
No, Ross says he's in the middle of fostering a dog right now. So
Oh.
that's
Fostering a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the dog's not very well adjusted, barking his head off in the background. Second weirdest thing that we got, someone submitted a Donald Trump shaped toilet brush.
oh,
Like a-
God.
That I know who that was.
Oh, you know who that was? Legitimately, you know who that was?
Really? Who?
Christopher.
Me?
It was not. It was not.
Oh, was it David Sean?
No, although you might like one. You might like one.
Donald Trump.
Did you guys actually grade it or no?
It was literally Trump at the end of the toilet brush.
Did you actually grade it?
Yeah, do you grade it?
Yeah, it was unused. It was unused, uncirculated.
You grade.
You still got a U grade.
We graded the toilet brush.
I sort of have a similar question. If you can think of something, what is the lowest grade that you've given something? Maybe something kind of a standard graded item. Can you think of?
I don't know that we've given a 10 or
because I don't even know what the lowest.
Given a 10. No,
I thought I saw a 10 before.
Yeah,
it was like a red
you know what
bar.
it was? You know what it was?
It was a 10 or a 20 of a red bar.
Justin Haney, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly the piece. Justin Haney found at like a garage sale or something. Like the beaterest beater, like barely had enough of the label on, but just enough you can tell that it actually
That's the one I saw.
Mark
Yeah.
5, it was a 10.
Yep.
It was rated to see as 10.
I saw that
That's
one.
exactly the piece I was thinking of, Charles.
I think he was selling it for $300 maybe or something.
No, he gave it. I think he gave it to Brian, or maybe it's a different piece. Gave it to Brian Angel, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that would have some additional extra value just because of how low the grade is. I mean, I could think of a handful of people that would want that just for that reason.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know some people like move up the chart, like they want a 10 and a 20 and a 30 and a 40 and a 50, and they go all the way up.
Shane's trying to go for the full spectrum of numbers for his
Leia Bosch, Leia Bausch, Leia Beach.
Yeah. I have the 75, the 75 plus, the 80, the plus, the 85, yeah, all the way up to 90. And I people joke with me, and I said, I don't know how you can get a 50 and 60. Like, is it just have to be a trashed figure? I don't even know what to look, what you'd look for to send in.
Chop the arm off.
I was gonna say bite the arm off. You're more civilized than I am.
Yeah. So one question I had about the show or shows in general, is it a pain to take all that stuff in when people are turning them in at the show? Is it really just a service you provide, and obviously you're making an appearance for yourself, you're getting you're getting your brand out there and you're on site, but what happens? Does it get loaded into a truck and driven back at that point after the show is over? What's that like for you guys?
It depends what show it is. I mean, to go back to the first part of your question, I'm in South Jersey. The company's in Florida. I got involved with it because I wanted to be around all these toys, and it's what I collect and what my passion is. But I'm not down there. Right? I go down to the Florida facility a few times a year, but I'm not around the toys as much as I can. But when I go to a show, see a lot of cool stuff, man. You interact with most of the people are cool. There's a couple weirdos, right? That's our hobby, right? Like 90% of the people are totally cool. There's a couple people that are just off or jerks or whatever. It's life. Most of the people are really cool. I like interacting with people. I like seeing the toys. I like being at the show. But afterwards, we pack them up really, really carefully. Mm-hmm. Most shows, we end up shipping it out on our dime. Mm-hmm. But if we're close enough, within 4, 5, 6 hour drive, I do a lot of shows on the East Coast, right? Up on the East Coast, do Philly area shows or ones in Jersey, Pennsylvania, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'll drive there and do drive them back, but then ship back down to Florida. So we also do shows in Florida. I think those shows they end up driving them back.
Gotcha. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Ross, we want to thank you very much for joining us from Collector Archive Services. Thank you. We appreciate your time on a Sunday night. We had fun hanging out with you in Nashville, and we appreciate all the good work you guys do down there in at the Florida factory. And you guys can all
what are the
Florida.
It's the sunshine. It's the sunshine factory.
Blasper.
Blasper. Oh yeah, it's Christopher with the Bespin Blasper. Yeah, that was a 6 Coors Light show, I think, or Michelob Ultra. What do you drink?
Amstel Light.
6 Amstel Light. Yeah, 6-pack show.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you can check out everything that CAS has to offer and all the services that they provide if you go to collectorarchive.com. It's not just grading; it's preserving your collectibles as well. It's archiving them, encasing them for protection and all that stuff. So check out everything they have on their website. You can find it out there. There's plenty of people in the hobby that you can get references from as well that use CAS regularly and get all of their high-end collectibles graded and protected. Once again, thanks very much for joining us. It is 5 Idiots Talking Toys here on Sunday night on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Please go to 5idiotstalkingtoys.com for everything about the show. Subscribe and comment below. Good night, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ross.
Okay.
Thanks, Ross.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, Ross.
Yep. Awesome.